You're listening to TUSD Pillars, part of the 150 years celebration of Tucson Unified School District.
A native Tucsonan, 96-year-old Dr. Banks Reed served in Tucson Unified Schools for 39 years as a teacher, a principal, and an assistant superintendent. As a student, Dr. Banks Reed attended the all-black Dunbar School. It had old books and desks, but it had inspirational teachers. She graduated from Tucson High, where she had been barred from athletics and clubs. She carried the pain of being denied equal access to educational opportunities with her for the rest of her life. 4 years ago, she and Gabby Giffords won the Changemakers Award from the Tucson YWCA, among many honors she has received as she paved the way for women and underrepresented communities. A mosaic portrait of her is in the Barrio Anita Association Community Mural. She co-authored the book From the Barrio to the Boardroom. Laura Banks Elementary School was built in 2002 and named in her honor.
I started in, 1926 as a first grader at Dunbar School, and I spent 9 years there, graduated in 1936, and then went on to Tucson High School. And along with that, our first and second grade teacher, Mrs. Taylor and Mrs. Nelson, they were such an inspiration, and I wanted to be like them. I decided this is it for me. And then went on to the university and got 4 degrees at the University of Arizona, including my Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education and a special certification for physical ed, because there's quite a story about physical ed in the University of Arizona when they would not let me get into the swimming pool, but that worked out. And then when the other is a master's in elementary education, and then I got my doctorate in educational administration. And after teaching junior elementary and junior high school for 25 years, I became the principal of Cabot Elementary School for 6 years. And from there, I became the district coordinator of reading and was responsible for a $1 million textbook adoption. I don't care where you lived in Tucson, and I lived here for 76 years before I moved to San Antonio, and I don't care where you lived, right across the street or anywhere, you had to go to Dunbar. And that just hurt me all my life. It really did, because I thought it was so unfair to our children. And then when I looked at Davis School was one of the schools where they sent me when they desegregated all the schools. And now it's, well, I don't know what it is now. I haven't kept up with it for the last few years. But because it's a bilingual school and they're finding that knowing Spanish is it's something that you need to have in today's world. And folk from way out east, when they started busing children to Davis, they sent them all over there. And still, we couldn't go anywhere we wanted to when it was our chance. And when I was the principal of Cabot, Utterback School was across the street. And I would see children who lived in that neighborhood, and they had to be sent to Vail and all those schools, and it hurt my heart. And I really worked on that and recommended that they change that, but to no avail. And that's one of the things that I regret very, very deeply, that I didn't have more of an influence in having them do better in that area. I'm trying to remember how many years before the Supreme Court decision. We were ahead of the decision. One of the things, Mr. Morrow really wanted to do some of this before his time, I tell you. And when I, got all my degrees, I have copies of the letter to several of the superintendents and saying that I think you needed a woman or someone of black descent to be here, to be a kind of conduit between the school and the families. And I said, I think I could do that well for you. And I never did get it for at least 10 years later. And I was selected to be the regional assistant superintendent for Region 4. Yes, I was in charge of Palo Verde High School and Rincon. Those were the 2 high schools. I had 4 middle schools, they called them then junior high schools, and 17 elementary schools with one special education school. And it was 39 years of just wonderful, wonderful experiences. And when the board decided they were not going to name the next two schools that were built after a flower or a cactus or something like that, and they put out this information, it was in the paper, telling what the criteria would be, and I met all the criteria just way over. And Ginger Stevenson Arzani and Jesse Zander said, if any school should be named after anybody, it should be you, Laura Banks Reed. And I said, okay. And Hank Oyama and myself were number 1 and number 2. It is wonderful because I have made it a part of my life to visit that school at least once a year. And I make a nice donation to them every year. And my picture is on the wall as they go down the hallway to the cafeteria. And I just have to tell you this because I visited one little classroom, and so the principal said, do you all know who this is? And one little girl held up her hand. That's the girl who owns this school. And I said, no, darling, I don't own the school. I'm just blessed to have it named after me. It's the children and your parents that own this school. But I want children to know that education is the key to a better life. And I want them to take advantage of all the opportunities that they have open. They have many, many opportunities now that I never had, and end up just making a contribution to not only themselves, their family, but to their country as well. So I think it's because I had no children, and I had spent my life in trying to improve the quality of other people's lives. It was a dream I never dared to dream.